All right, everyone. I thought Cody Rhodes gave a really, really honest answer about his relationship with The Rock on a recent podcast appearance. So that's why we're doing the video on it. This is what he said. When a situation like that, The Rock returning, happens, it's very real. Hey, the fans have made a choice and it's very real. I think there's just a lingering tension, perhaps. I universally love him. I grew up a Rock fan. We have yet to debrief on WrestleMania what happened because I bet you his story is a little bit different. I think maybe some bad advice came and he didn't get good knowledge on, okay, here's the layout, here's who's sitting at the table. But I'd love that if I ever could have this little debrief. So this is not shocking. I mean, if you watch one thing, you got to hand to WWE. If you watch that WrestleMania XL documentary, you can tell in that two things. The first is Cody was legitimately hurt by everything that happened in the lead up to WrestleMania. And if it wasn't for the fans, I think it would have really left a bad taste in his mouth. Like the fans saved it, but he was actually down in the dumps, hurt. And you don't really think that, right? When you're watching WWE, you're like, oh, this is scripted. You know, these guys don't really, this stuff doesn't bother them that much. It bothered Cody Rhodes in a big way, and you saw it in the footage they released. The other thing you saw was that The Rock was super, super bothered by how it all went down. Because you got to think about The Rock. This guy is an all time great wrestler. And, he comes back to WWE and he expects that he's going to be the show, right? He expects that I'm the biggest dude here. I'm the one who was there in the Attitude Era. I'm the biggest name. And in some ways, that's true, in terms of what he's done with movies and all of that, he's the biggest name. But what he didn't realize was that there was a tie between the fans and wanting to see Cody finish that story. And it wasn't necessarily that they didn't want to see The Rock fight Roman Reigns. We do want to see that match too. But it was that he didn't understand how important this Cody Rhodes story was to the fans. And so what that creates is a tension between Cody and The Rock, because Cody's saying, this guy just comes in and I know he's an all-time great and I love him, but he comes in and he just basically rips apart a storyline we've been building for years and inserts himself into it. And The Rock is mad because The Rock's saying, listen, I'm the biggest star here. And, I'm trying to set up this great main event and it basically gets shot down. So he's a little bit embarrassed. Didn't understand. I think what Cody says is right. He didn't get good knowledge on, okay, here's the layout, here's who's sitting at the table. That's true. I think The Rock just didn't understand all the forces necessarily at play and how over this storyline really was. And the beauty of this situation, and hopefully they do this debrief and they can figure it out, because I think if they just communicate on this, I don't think it's going to be a lasting, anger between the two sides. But I do think that this was the best thing, not only for Cody, not only for the WWE universe, but for The Rock. Because I think if The Rock had won out, let's say The Rock wins this battle between the two sides, if The Rock had won out, that Roman Reigns Rock main event, I don't think would have maybe been good, but I think it would have been perceived just based off the fact of what it took the place of, that people wouldn't have liked it. Whereas now, I actually think the fact that we saw Cody, we saw Roman, and where the storyline is heading, this is going to be even better than it ever would have been. And I think The Rock will recognize that when it happens. But that WWE WrestleMania XL documentary, man, it told us everything we needed to know. It told us, hey, listen, Cody was upset and The Rock was a little salty, right? Because The Rock isn't used to him not being that main star and him not, his way not him not coming out and the fans just falling all over the idea that he wanted. So, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.